Huge news just broke out today. Trump just announced that he wants to take Freddie and Fannie public and IPO by the end of this year in 2025. So let's just dive right in. My name is Hayato. I manage and own a real estate fund with over 1,000 plus deals collectively completed with my partners. I have absolutely nothing to sell you, and I just want to share the information that I see and from my experiences to you. So, question for you before we get started. Should Fannie and Freddie Mac be taken public via IPO? Drop your comments below. I would love to know. Now, if you don't know what Freddie and Fannie is, the simple explanation is that it's a government-sponsored enterprise that keeps the US housing market liquid. So what they do is they buy mortgages from lenders and banks. They repackage these mortgage-backed securities and they sell them to investors. That way, the banks have enough cash and ample capital to go out and lend more money as mortgages to people who want to buy a home, right? So people go buy a home, they get a mortgage from a bank. That mortgage is then bought by Freddie or Fannie, and then they collectively put them together and sell them to investors. In a nutshell, that's essentially how it works. And they've been under the federal conservatorship since the 2008 housing crisis, but now have returned to profitability and rebuilt capital reserves. But overall, this is what Freddie and Fannie does. They do this on the single family space and also in the multifamily as well, which is what we're in. So, for example, we're purchasing a 24 unit building at the moment, and we're utilizing Freddie Mac for that loan. Now, here's a big question too. Isn't Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac already publicly traded? Yes, it is. So Fannie and Freddie Mac shares do trade over the counter, but it's again under conservatorship. So their stock is highly restricted and speculative, meaning if you went on Robinhood and try to buy these types of shares, you simply can't. And so where you can look up Fannie Mae stock, and it actually rose up quite a bit today. So let me see if I can go ahead and show this over to you. So now you can see Fannie Mae stocks. It's listed here on the shelf, on the counter, FNMA, and you can see it skyrocketed when that announcement came up. It went up 18% today. So if you are rushing to go and trade this on Robinhood, you will not find it. It is not possible to trade there. So what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to bring this into a bigger stock exchange like the New York Stock Exchange or wherever they decide to go and list these. Now, if it was on Robinhood, the share prices would continuously fluctuate heavily. However, because it's over the counter and it's harder to get a hold of and trade, that type of volatility doesn't happen as much. So that's one thing to consider. And really, with the IPO plan, they're just going to reintroduce them as fully public companies with new equity offerings, greater liquidity, and less government control. So that is why he wants to take it IPO. Now, what did Trump announce today? So today, the administration said IPOs for both could happen later in 2025. And they could raise roughly 30 billion. That's what the analysts are saying. And these two entities could be valued at over $500 billion with a sale of 5 to 15% of their stock. And again, following the news, their shares jumped quite a bit, as you just saw from the over-the-counter stock trades. And if this does go IPO, this could be one of the biggest IPOs of history because this is such a huge component and integral part of how mortgages and lenders work. And here's some of the pros to take it public. Government revenue. It could raise tens of billions of dollars and reduce some federal liabilities. The second pro is the return to private ownership. So it's going to end decades-long government conservatorship. And what that means is essentially with the shareholders and demand for investors to get even more of their capital back, it's just going to be run more as an investment firm than it is a government security. And number three, investor gains. Major backers who have already been purchasing Fannie and Freddie could see large profits from this IPO, so that could be a benefit for them. Now, here are some of the cons, and the cons are always going to be for majority of the American population. So, number one, possible higher mortgage rates. Without an official guarantee, investors may demand higher returns, and it could make mortgages even more expensive because the investors are going to want to see a bigger return, and in that And in doing so, whether the Fed increases or reduces rates, they could now have the ability to make mortgages more expensive to get that return. So that's number one. Number two, there is a potential that affordable loans could be removed because they don't typically make as much as lending to people who are going to pay better rates and more higher priced properties. And so these affordable loans for low income borrowers, maybe they're going to have less options to go from, and it could reduce the number of people who are looking to purchase properties and not allow them to purchase properties that they're looking for, because these low to middle income people are going to be the most affected with the biggest jump in mortgage rates. And number three, unclear federal rules. So there is an implicit guarantee on mortgage backed securities, and that could be reduced or it could be removed. Who knows what's going to happen with an IPO? There's tons of unknowns. So, what could this mean for the economy? Number one, it could mean deficit relief. Funds could help pay for other programs or tax cuts. I don't know if that's going to go into that at all, but could be a possibility. Number two, it could also mean more market volatility. This one is quite plausible just because mortgage markets could see rapid changes. And if investors flood into purchasing Freddie and Fannie stock, you can see that they're going to want more and more returns on their investment, and therefore it could significantly affect what the rates look like at any given moment. And number three, impact on housing. Potential benefits are going to be for investors, but again, home buyers could face higher costs. So those who are looking and shopping for a mortgage could face some difficulty. So what do you think? If Fannie and Freddie go public, it would be one of the largest IPOs in history, and it's a massive change for the housing market, the federal budget, and investors. But should they be privatized through an IPO? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.